just wanted to welcome everyone to our Workforce Investment Act Rapid Response webinar for the folks at Youth Outreach Services who are being impacted by a layoff. What we hope to do over the next hour or so is to provide you with some information and resources that are available to you as a result of your layoff. I want to thank Brigitta Williams, the HR Director from Youth Outreach Services, who has been working with me to coordinate this session kind of last minute. As we go forward throughout the webinar, feel free to stop at any time and ask questions. Just to give you an idea of the agenda, I'm going to turn it over in a minute to Kathleen Brannigan from the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. Kathleen will talk about the services that are available to you in Cook County, but I'd like to remind you, if you don't live in Cook County, you can access these same services from the county where you do live. We have Illinois workNet offices located throughout the state, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. We're also going to hear from Lisa Sromek from the U.S. Department of Labor, who will talk with you about information you should be thinking about in terms of retirement benefits, as well as health care coverage when you're faced with a layoff. And finally, we will hear from a representative from the Illinois Department of Employment Security, who will talk with you about unemployment insurance benefits. Again, feel free to stop us at any time if you have a question, and we'll follow along with the slides. Please be aware we are recording this session, so if there's you'd like to go back later and listen to it again, you are certainly more than welcome to do that on illinoisworknet.com. I think we can post a link here in a few minutes that will direct you to the page that has been set up for Youth Outreach Services. And from there, you can also, just like on the left-hand side of your screen, there are some documents and files that you can download there that you can reference after the call is over. So if there are no questions, I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen Brannigan from the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership.
Thank you, Annie. Hello and welcome to the Youth Outreach Webinar Rapid Response Workshop. We appreciate your participation today and hope that you'll find this information useful to you in your employment transition period. My name is Kathleen Brannigan, and I represent the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, which is a local workforce investment area for Cook County and the public workforce system for Cook County, which is the city of Chicago and suburban Cook. The program today will cover the dislocated worker services, programs, and resources that are available to you through local, state, and federal grants and a myriad of resources, all at no cost to you, as the services are provided through tax dollars that you've already paid. Before we get started, please note that the webinar is interactive, and questions or comments that you may have can be facilitated through the chat function, and we encourage and welcome all of your questions. After each presentation, we will allow for questions and answers for the topic that is being presented. This webinar will also be videotaped, like Annie had said, and will be available for viewing after today on the Illinois workNet Laid Off Worker Assistance site. Also, all of the information and material that is presented to you today is available upline on the company-specific page for Youth Outreach Services. The State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity administers the state's rapid response and layoff assistance programs with the partner organizations, and we come together as a rapid response team to present these available resources through the WIA grant at companies and organizations throughout Cook County who have notified the state of Illinois of a layoff situation through a WARN notice letter. The Dislocated Worker Program is a federal program available nationally through the Department of Labor. But on the local state level, the program is administered throughout the state through regional local workforce investment areas. Scarlett, can you turn to page 2 for me? Thank you. First, here are some quick facts about the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. We administer the WIA grant locally in Cook County through 10 workforce centers and approximately 49 service provider organizations located throughout the city of Chicago and suburban Cook County. Our job is to help people through job transition and to find employment, reemployment, to help people train. And we do that through all these local workforce centers. Once again, the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership represents the public workforce system for Cook County, and part of our many tasks and workforce and employment initiatives is to facilitate the dislocated worker workshop to individuals who have been notified that they will be laid off or separated from their employment with a company. If you are in receipt of a letter from your company, you'll want to hold on to that document, as that will essentially serve as a ticket for eligibility to receive dislocated worker services. These services are available through the federal grant WIA, the Workforce and Investment Act grant, and it is a national program. So if you do not live in Cook County, you may locate a workforce center or partner organization near you on Illinois WorkNet, and we are going to be going through that shortly. Scarlett, could you turn to page 3 for me, please? Thank you. Again, the goal of this webinar is to provide information and resources on dislocated worker programs to prepare the unemployed to re-enter the workforce. Additionally, we train workers facing layoff in new skills and place them in training-related employment. Page 4, please. Thank you. Again, the WIA grant is administered by the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and is facilitated for all of Cook County, which is known as LWIA 7. Please turn to page 5. As a dislocated worker, this is a definition that we wanted to provide to you. So as a dislocated worker, they are individuals who have been laid off or terminated or received notice of layoff or termination due to a plant or mass layoff through the receipt of the WARN notice. They are unemployed through no fault of their own, are eligible for unemployment, and or are unlikely to return to their previous occupation of industry. Page 6, please. So how does the WIA grant help? The WIA grant and the service levels available under WIA are career services and training services. And as of July 1st, this law recently was reauthorized by Congress, and we will be moving to a new law that has different programs and things. So the new term that you are going to hear, the old term is WIA, the new term is going to be WIOA. So I just want to mention that. But the important part is that there are career services that are available to you, again, at no cost. And probably the most important thing is that you'll have the opportunity under career services, the career service training level, to have an opportunity to work with a career coach one-on-one to put together an individual employment plan with regards to your job goals, the objectives, and action plans to move forward. The first thing that you'll want to do is you're going to want to call the nearest workforce center near you to secure an orientation date to start the process. Again, this level of service will provide you with an opportunity to work one-on-one with a career coach who's going to assist and support you to maximize your job search. That entails a myriad of methods and activities for employment and assistance and placement, but including the main components of developing a job search plan, which includes putting together a resume and cover letter, how to navigate online job applications, prepare for the job interview, and various other methods for networking and job search through social media. So the things that you do see on this screen here, you see orientation, we talk about job search. It's also a place where you can find out and learn about labor market information. We'll have within each workforce center, which again, there's 5 workforce centers in the city of Chicago. There are 5 workforce centers in suburban Cook County. Each one of them has a resource room that you can utilize as a place to job search. And again, there are a myriad of different ways that you're going to do that. And we have experts and professionals in those workforce centers that are going to help direct you. But the important part is that resource center, there you have free use of computers with internet access, free use of fax machines, copiers, all business related, of course. And it's a place where people like yourself there are there as well. So people are there working on their resumes, going to workshops, checking job boards. It's very comprehensive. There's many services that can assist and help you. There is also supportive service information available. Some of our offices are partnered with the Illinois Department of Employment Security, but they've been going through some different changes, and they'll talk to that. But there is information, and you can get assistance as to problems with claim filing. And again, there's all kinds of different activities, workforce related, for hiring events, job fairs, if you want to attend a workshop on social media, LinkedIn, getting ready for an interview. There's opportunities to attend a workshop that you can have one-on-one mock interviews to practice. So there's lots of things to access. Scarlett, please turn to page 7. Thank you. Again, this is a little bit more about career services and the resources available. So again, comprehensive skill assessments. That means there's different skill profiles you can take, because part of it is you don't, when you leave a company, you leave an organization, you don't leave those skills there. You pick up that skill toolbox and you move on. But when you're going through transition, you need to reintroduce yourself to the workforce arena. And part of our work is to help prepare you and get you ready for that. So again, there's career counseling available, individually one-on-one, and then there's different group activities. We'll work with you on the individual employment plan and job search. We'll work with you on your resume, cover letter, getting prepared for interviews. There's a variety of different things that you might encounter in this transition. And the Workforce Center can refer out. For instance, if you have transportation issues, if you are having housing issues. We like to consider ourselves a regional center, and we're very well connected and partnered with many organizations, other not-for-profit organizations and employment ministries in your region. So if there is a issue that you have other than just job search, there is other assistance and programs out there. And also, once you're eligible for WIA, you might find as you work with your career counselor one-on-one that you're in a situation where you need to retrain. Under the Workforce Investment Act grant, as well as the new act, WIOA, you'll have the ability to go back to school for short-term vocational training, and can access training grants, not grants, but training subsidy for up to $8,000 in Cook County. So for instance, if I'll give you an example, I've worked in the past with a gentleman who had been a manager in IT. Because he was a manager, there were many certifications that he let lapse. He ended up, the company ended up closing, and so he came out, he found out about the WIA services, went through orientation, started to work with a career counselor, determined that he needed 2 to 3 certifications within his industry to get current again. He was able to access a WIA training grant and go back to school and was back in the job force within a year. So the WIA training dollars are not meant for to complete a 4-year degree or a master's degree. It's focused on various occupational certifications and training. And there's a variety to choose from. We focus on the demand sectors of healthcare, IT, transportation and logistics, manufacturing, retail, and hospitality. So there are training programs available in each industry. And when you come into the Workforce Center, there will be workshops and information available to help you guide there. You do have to have intent with training and obviously the aptitudes, but it can also allow you the opportunity to upgrade your skill set as well as or change a chapter. You might be interested or have been wanting to go back to school to retrain for a new industry in a particular occupation, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you'll be able to access. Next page, please. Again, these are the training services. So also in the Workforce Center, there is opportunities. Once you, some people take different paths. We're all different, so your individual employment plan is going to be different from someone else. But the point is, after you get done with training, if that's your path, all of our Workforce Center organizations have business service teams. These are people that go out into the community, the business community, develop relationships, because part of our job is to help you find new employment, to get reemployed as soon as possible. So we work with the different employers. So there's different tools that we can use when we work with businesses. One of them is on-the-job training. There's different industry sector training programs you can access. We do have information on entrepreneurial training and various other customized training. So, you know, I always say you have to educate and engage with the system to find out what is available to you. You're going to be busy putting a schedule together, because part of the process is, and I was at a recent workshop myself to work with people who go through dislocation, and what they're saying is you really need to put, you know, if you want that 40-hour-a-week job, you need to put in those 40 hours. So one day you're going to be scheduling working at 1 or 2 days at the Workforce Center. Possibly you might go out to a library to work. The next day there might be a job club that you're going to attend. The next day you might have a networking opportunity. So all those things work together hand in hand, you know, to help support your reemployment job goals. Next page, please. So the next page here, we talk about Illinois WorkNet. And Illinois WorkNet is our online workforce development portal. As it says, it helps people put together individual plans and move forward. We wanted to provide this information to you. You can go up on Illinois WorkNet and you can establish an account and sign up for newsletters. It's available to you 24/7. And what we wanted to point out is that a dislocated worker can access the laid-off worker component to the system, and you'll see it on this first page here, Get Laid-Off Worker Assistance. There is what we call a company-specific page, so there'll be a page out there for youth outreach services, and it's very comprehensive. There is a tremendous amount of information out there. It caters to people's different learning styles. So if you like to read, You can read the narrative. You can walk through that. There's different video tutorials you can read. There's all kinds of things out there for you to assist you during this time of transition. Next page, please. And you see this right here. So this is the Illinois WorkNet Laid Off Workers Step Guide. And sometimes people, they don't know what their first step is. So this can certainly help you to put together your game plan. You're going to want to do this before you go into a workforce center. You're going to want to have a sense of your next steps. And Illinois WorkNet is an awesome tool that can help you do that. Next page, please. A little bit earlier, I mentioned that you may be in Cook County, or maybe you're in Will County, or maybe you're in Lake County, but whatever, you can have access to Illinois WorkNet centers, and what you'll do is you'll put in your zip code, and it will pull up all the workforce centers in the state of Illinois, as well as different organizations that work with people that go through dislocation. And the information is there, the website address, as well as it helps you narrow the search if you just want to put in zip code. And also all the addresses for the partnerships workforce centers for Cook County are available in the laid off worker materials that are available on this webinar. Next page, please. So we've come to the end of my portion, and I know I kind of moved quickly through the information. Again, we encourage you to go up on Illinois WorkNet. That can be your first place right after this webinar to go back over the information. But again, I encourage you to educate and engage with the system. You'll be surprised how much is available. And I'm concluding my portion, but I want to open the floor up for any questions anybody might have. Otherwise, we'll be moving forward. And I don't see any questions. So I think we're going to move on to the next speaker, and I want to wish everybody good luck, and we'll see you.
So, hello, my name is Lisa Sromek, and I am a benefits advisor with the U.S. Department of Labor Employee Benefits Security Administration, or EBSA for short. And it looks like I may not have the privileges to switch my own slides, so I'll be making a comment to switch those just like Kathleen was. But EBSA is a federal agency within the Department of Labor, as I mentioned. We have both an informal customer service side, which I am a part of, and we have an enforcement team as well. And part of our mission is to provide outreach to people with information about our office, the laws that we enforce, and to give you the information that may help you work through your best options in a situation such as this one. We enforce the law called ERISA, which is the Employee Retirement Income and Security Act of 1974, and it has been amended by several other laws, and those are some of the laws that I will speak to you about today. And all of these laws, what they share in common is that they offer certain protections for both health and retirement benefit plans. So since job loss affects benefits, of course, it's helpful to have just an overview of the applicable provisions, just to help you make these choices that you face now. And we'll begin with the health coverage and end with the retirement benefit reminders. Next slide. So here's just an overview of some of these laws that have amended ERISA. HIPAA, which stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and it has the special enrollment provisions, which are especially useful in a situation like this. COBRA is a way to continue your employer-based coverage, and now some other new options thanks to the health insurance reform under the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. Next slide. HIPAA, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, is the law that has historically offered protections to participants switching from coverage under one plan to another. And while this requirement for providing a certificate for the purposes of protecting against pre-existing condition exclusions by demonstrating your prior coverage has recently gone away, it is possible that people may still see these in the mail because it seems that some plans are still providing these certificates just as a way to provide official notice to employees that your active employee benefits have ended. And benefits actually can end as soon as midnight on the last day of your employment. And my understanding is that this is the case laid off employees with youth outreach services, that health benefits will end as of midnight on your last day of employment. Another provision of HIPAA, as amended by the Affordable Care Act, is that when enrolling on an employer-sponsored group health plan, your new hire waiting period can be no longer than 90 days. So coverage must be effective no later than 90 days after you satisfy the plan eligibility requirements. Before, it used to be something like 90 days after the first full month that you've completed service, and that now it cannot be any longer than 90 days. So for anyone that may have another job lined up, in case you knew that the layoff was coming and you had some time to get something set up, just be aware that your new employer's plan has to take effect within 90 days. Next slide. But now for the HIPAA special enrollment provision, which may help some of you which are in a situation that you don't have a new job lined up yet. As an alternative to COBRA, this provision of HIPAA allows someone who qualifies for another employer-sponsored plan, such as a spouse's employer's plan, to enroll outside of the open enrollment period when you have a loss of coverage. So you have to have been already eligible to enroll, but you previously declined signing up for it. All you have to do is make sure that you request the special enrollment from this other plan within 30 days of losing this plan of coverage, and your coverage should take effect no later than the first of the month following the request that you made to enroll. You should definitely understand the plan's rules for making a special enrollment request. Some plans are fine with just a verbal request, and others will require something more formal in writing. And they may ask for some sort of proof of your prior coverage ending, so you'll have to work with your health insurance issuer or your employer to provide something to that effect if that HIPAA certificate is no longer being issued. Next slide. COBRA is often used in conversation as a plan of insurance or type of coverage, but it actually is the acronym for the name of a law passed in 1986, which allows you to continue the same group health plan on a month-by-month basis for up to 18 months at your own cost. And because COBRA is a direct continuation of the same plan you had as an active employee, everything about the coverage stays the same, including the proof of insurance card, your doctor or provider network, and any progress that you've made towards an annual deductible. COBRA also allows you independent election rights. So if your employer offers medical, dental, and vision coverage as 3 separate plans, you can elect to continue just medical but not dental, or vice versa. Next slide. So one thing that can and usually does change with COBRA is the cost that you are used to paying for the coverage. If the employer covered a portion of the premium for active employees and deducted the rest from your paycheck, under COBRA, they can now pass along both the employee and the employer cost, plus a 2% administrative fee. But there are ways to reduce this cost through what is called independent elections, and that's what I mentioned previously, just choosing the dental but not the vision, or vice versa. Also, if you have family coverage, you may choose to continue just the COBRA for one family member rather than the whole family, and then the amount that you pay is based on just what you have elected. So one other thing that I recently learned as well, because the health insurance marketplace, which I'll talk about a little bit later, offers medical coverage as well as standalone dental plans, something that I did confirm is that you're able to elect COBRA for just the dental, and then you can shop for health coverage under the marketplace, and that would be without risk share subsidy, so long as you would not sign up for any other medical plan of coverage. But I just wanted to put that out there, and I will definitely discuss the federal health insurance marketplace in a couple more slides. But now, returning to COBRA, what you can expect is to receive a notice in the mail with all of the information you need to make up your mind about the COBRA, including the monthly cost and where you would send the payments to. And this notice must reach you within 44 days. The COBRA election notice packet will either have the return address of your employer, if they do administer the COBRA in-house, or it'll have a return address of a third party that they've hired to take care of this compliance for them. And it's usually a payroll service company such as ADP, or a specialized third-party COBRA service provider such as COBRA Source or COBRA Serve. And then as far as your end of things, you will have 60 days to make up your mind about COBRA, starting from the later of the date that your active employee coverage ended or the date of the notice. You cannot be required to send in your payment with your election, and so if you do elect COBRA, you will have 45 days to make your first payment. And then depending on how long all of this takes, you could end up owing for something like 3 months of coverage up front. Going forward, your payment will be due by the first of the month in which you receive the coverage, but is still considered within the grace period if your payment is received within 30 days of that month. So it's only that initial grace period that's 45 days. All of the rest of the continuation of coverage will be a 30-day grace period. And also, keep in mind that the sooner that you elect and pay for COBRA, the sooner your benefits will show up as active again. And because of this administrative time delay involved with the sending of the notice and the time you have to make your decision, your coverage may show up as temporarily canceled until your payment is received and posted. But COBRA, keep in mind, is the only coverage option that will cover you back to the date that your active employee benefits ended, leaving you with a seamless, zero break in coverage, continuation of coverage. So any other plan that you might sign up for will only cover you going forward from the date after you enroll. And some ways of, just quickly before we move on, thank you, some ways that you may want to avoid any trouble that could pop up with this administrative time lag. If you have a doctor's appointment scheduled, you would just want to maybe advise them up front that you would want to hold off on billing or hold off on submitting your out-of-pocket costs for reimbursement once your coverage shows up as active again. So all receipts that you may have for any out-of-pocket costs will be reimbursable under the plan's normal rules once COBRA takes effect. And then you also can keep in mind about your notice and election time delay. View it as actually something to your advantage, especially if you are interviewing and you don't have your other coverage options available or you have decided against them. You would want to realize that with that time delay, you have your potential to research your other coverage options under the marketplace, but then should something happen you can always go back and elect and pay, and it'll be covered. So the same thing, if you're interviewing and you're not sure if you're going to get a job, or if you're on this new employer's waiting period and you're not quite covered yet, keep in mind that COBRA is a good backup just in case you ever end up needing it. And now we'll move on to young adult coverage. Thanks to the health insurance reform provisions of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, one of the requirements is that employers allow adult-dependent children up to age 26 to join or remain covered on a parent's plan. And so if anyone is younger than age 26, you'll want to pay special attention to this information, because it's a possible extra option as well. In terms of special enrollment, instead of just enrolling on a spouse's employer's plan, if you are under age 26, you can also request a special enrollment on a parent's employer's plan. And this is regardless if you are married, financially independent of your parents, not living with your parents, not a full-time student, or even if you are eligible to enroll on another plan in most cases, unless the parent's employer's plan has something called grandfathered status. And these rules do apply to both job-based plans and as well as individual plans that you could buy yourself inside or outside of the marketplace. And adult-dependent children may be enrolled during a parent's during a plan's open enrollment period, or during other special enrollment opportunities. And the employer or insurance company can provide those details, as I mentioned before. And as far as some other options are concerned, another alternative we have now for everyone is shopping for coverage through the new health insurance marketplace, or Obamacare as it's otherwise known. And it is still possible to apply for financial need-based coverage directly through the state, or to purchase individual coverage directly through an insurance company or broker. But people who purchase through the marketplace benefit from a screening process that they automatically put in place to evaluate you for financial need-based coverage, either coverage provided through the state or for premium assistance or tax credits to help offset the cost of marketplace plans. And we'll go over these options in more detail. So for the first option, here are some basic facts about shopping for coverage in the marketplace. And it's not so new anymore, but in case you've never looked into it before and it's probably new for you, there are several ways to apply. You can apply either online, by mail, by phone, or in person through certain outlets which have people who have been certified as health insurance navigators. And these can include local community healthcare organizations and clinics. So the website would be healthcare.gov, and the phone number listed on the slide. The open enrollment period for this year has run out, but open enrollment for the 2016 coverage year will run from November 15th through February of 2016. And outside of the open enrollment, of course, you can enroll if you have a qualifying life event or a loss of coverage, such as this through your employer. And the marketplace, of course, will automatically tell you if you qualify for free or low-cost coverage available through Medicaid or CHIP. And I'm not certain if all of the employees of Youth Outreach Services are Illinois residents, but if you are an Illinois resident, you can also visit another website called getcoveredillinois.gov, or you can call at 866-311-1119, and that phone number is available Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And my understanding actually is that the Illinois website is most helpful for screening someone in terms of qualifying for financial assistance for the coverage, whereas the federal website, healthcare.gov, provides the actual details about the coverage options available and the costs, and so it's more helpful for comparison shopping or determining if your doctors accept any of the plans, for instance. And now for some very important information with respect to replacing COBRA with your marketplace coverage. As I mentioned, this is a qualifying event for you, a loss of coverage, but it can, if you first elect to sign up for coverage under COBRA, you can't drop it and then decide to sign up for the marketplace coverage. This can only be done if you are in open enrollment for the federal marketplace, if your COBRA coverage hasn't run out yet. So if you do end your COBRA coverage and with exhausting the full 18 months and you apply for a marketplace plan during open enrollment, at that point you may qualify for tax credits that can lower your monthly premiums and out-of-pocket costs. But if you end your COBRA coverage early, outside of the marketplace open enrollment, you will not be eligible to enroll until the next open enrollment. So definitely keep that in mind. You can also lose your eligibility for any subsidy if you elect COBRA first and then try to go back to the marketplace coverage, or even vice versa. The only exception would be, as I mentioned before, if you elect the continuation of coverage, and there's been some recent updates and clarifications to this legislation. If you elect to sign up for the marketplace coverage and you qualify for the subsidy, but you would like to keep your COBRA for dental, for instance, you can do that without risk to your subsidy for the marketplace medical coverage. The only way that you'll jeopardize your medical subsidy at that point will be if you go back to COBRA for the medical or to some other medical plan, either an individual policy or some other plan that you would sign up for. And Medicaid is a state-based program that you will automatically be screened and directed towards if you qualify based on income in applying for the marketplace coverage. Medicaid is free or low-cost care based on income and family size, and you can apply any time of the year. And your coverage can begin immediately if you do qualify. Another program that you will be automatically screened for is the Children's Health Insurance Program, or CHIP. This is low-cost health coverage for families with income above the limit for Medicaid, but still more needy than someone who would qualify simply for the subsidy under the regular marketplace plans. This does cover parents and pregnant women in addition to children, and of course each state has its own rules and qualifying guidelines. So you would want to visit the website insurekidsnow.gov or call the phone number for more information, unless you just go ahead and complete the screening process through the federal marketplace. And now, before we leave the topic of health coverage, I'll ask if there are any questions. We only have a few extra slides to go through with respect to retirement plans. Okay, so finally, I would like to offer some brief but important retirement plan reminders. Regardless of the type of plan, whether it's a traditional pension plan or a 401k, it is a great idea to keep your address updated with the plan if you move, so that you can continue to receive plan mailings and the plan knows how to find you when it comes time to pay benefits. Some of the most frequent calls that my office tends to take from the public are from people who are getting close to Social Security retirement age or regular retirement age, 65, and they're getting some notices, or they start thinking back now that they're thinking about their retirement. It doesn't seem as far away anymore, and they're having trouble locating their plans and how to reach out to the plan to apply for benefits. And I can tell you that the people who make the conscious effort to remember to contact their plans and update their address and mailing information are the people who always fare a lot better. And sometimes, it really can't be helped. If a company is purchased or if it reorganizes, then it's something that we can definitely help, and what we try to help people locate their benefits. Often they get outsourced to a third-party benefits center, but it's something that can make life a lot easier for you. Even if you think about any prior employers that you may have been with prior to youth outreach services, it's a good thing to maybe just do a check and see that you have done so, kept your address updated. As I mentioned, the normal retirement age for full benefits in a traditional pension is 65, but different plans offer different options, and just like health plans, retirement plans must be administered according to the written plan rules. So another thing to do, if you don't already have a copy or have misplaced it, is to call at Human Resources or your benefits person and request a copy of the written plan rules. The formal name for this document is a Summary Plan Description, or SPD for short. And now for some options regarding retirement benefits. Certainly if the company is not going out of business, you have the option to keep the funds with your plan and, of course, keep in touch. But if you have a contributory retirement plan, such as a 401k or 403b, you do have the option to do a rollover, usually upon a termination of employment, to a personal IRA or your new employer's plan, or to take a taxable distribution where you will have a tax penalty if you're younger than usually age 59 and a half. So again, reading through and requesting that summary plan description document is a helpful thing to do, just so you understand exactly what's available to your plan. And finally, we'll leave you with some contact information. You can call toll-free and speak with a benefits advisor such as myself at this number, or you can visit our website and submit an online inquiry, or just poke around there for more information. Specifically, you can be on the lookout for a brochure called Retirement and Healthcare Coverage, Questions and Answers for Dislocated Workers, which is available in both English and Spanish, and basically covers all of the information that we did in the presentation today. And the PDF of this booklet may also be available for you to download from the webcast as well. And so if there are no questions, I thank everybody for their time and wish you all good luck.
Hello?
Annie or Kathleen, if you had anything else to say. If not, we can wrap up the presentation.
Well, we're waiting for Karen McLeod from IDES.
Okay.
Right.
So she's on, and I just sent her phone number. Can you activate it so she can present?
Yeah. Give
Is
me
there
1 second here. It doesn't look like she's on yet.
She's listed as an attendee, and I sent her phone number through the presenter chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you hear us here?
No, they're not. We're listed as
Yep,
presenter.
we can hear you.
There you go. Okay, go ahead, IDES, please.
Hi, my name is Miguel Claudio. I'm an Employment Security Program Representative. I'm here with Dana Martin and Karen McLeod. We don't have a slideshow here. We don't have a slide, so I'm going to do this on the fly here. One of the first things that should be written down.
Miguel,
yes.
I'm not sure if you can see your computer screen, but you guys sent us a slideshow. if you want to
Give me a
follow
second.
along.
No, we don't see it. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. We were just kicked out. Give me a second. Just give us press next right there. Next. Okay, you can close that out. Okay, yeah, no, we don't see anything here on our end.
Did you hear us say that?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. If you cannot see the slides, we'll just do the best you can and we'll move forward from there.
Okay, and I apologize for that. One of the first things that needs to be written down is this number. It's 1-800-244-5631, and that is claimant services. If during your claim, once it's running, or if you're not able to do the claim online, this is the number you want to call first before going into any of the local offices. And one of the first things you want to do so that you don't have to go into the local office, when you file a claim, you can do so online by going into www.ides.illinois, spell the entire word Illinois, .gov. On the right-hand side of that website, there's a drop-down arrow that you can click down and just click File My Claim. Okay. If you're having problems registering, then you can call that 1-800 number that I just gave you, and they can give you the answer as to why you're not able to do it online, and they might direct you to go into a local office and be able to file your claim. Now, if you're in Chicago, I do have the address for the local offices in Chicago. And on the north side of Chicago, there's one listed on Lawrence and Western, which is 2444 West Lawrence, Chicago, Illinois, 60625. In case you want to call the office before going there, you can call 773-334-6646. If you live anywhere in the southeast side of Chicago, there are two locations there. One is located at 1515 East 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60619. Phone number is 773-947-2500. And there's another location, actually there's four offices. In this one, it's 715 East 47th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60653. And the phone number is 773-538-9811. The other location is at the Pilsen office at 1700 West 18th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60608. I do not have a phone number for that one, however. I'll try to locate it for you. Okay. Now, one of the things that a lot of people, and one of the super important things to know, any mail that you get from IDES, please open the letter, read carefully, especially if you happen to have been collecting for a month or two and receive a letter asking you to come into the RES or Reemployment Services Workshop. There should be a number on that letter that you should call and let us know that you are already working and no longer need to attend the workshop. Because what happens is that if you figure, I'm already working, why should I attend this workshop? We don't know that you're working most of the time, and you will be denied benefits for 2 weeks. And we will hold your benefits, or you will have to pay some of the money back, which we do not want to do. Okay. The other thing that a lot of people don't know is that there are no more extensions. Okay, there are 6 months worth of benefits. You're given an entire benefit year to exhaust those benefits. Okay, and how much you would get for a non-working spouse or a child, you can call that 1-800 number I gave you. They can get all that information for you as to what your weekly benefit amount would be. okay? The other thing is, in terms of if you want to work, a lot of people don't know that you can work and you can collect benefits as well. And you can also go to school and also collect benefits as well, especially if you're in a WIA-approved training, okay? How much can you make before the benefits if you're working? If your benefits stop, so that you will have to call that 1-800 number. They will let you know how much you can make before your benefits are suspended. Okay, so if you have any other questions for me, we're open to hear any questions.
Any questions?
Okay, we're done.
She should have said no.
Okay, I take it there are no questions.
Great.
So with that, I want to thank everyone for coming today and attending. Certainly, you can go back and look at the webinar on the IllinoisWorkNet.com page that Kathleen referenced, and also download the files on the left-hand side of your screen, which you should find helpful. And I really appreciate everyone coming today. I want to wish you all the best as you move forward from this transition. I know it's not an easy thing, but I'm hoping that you'll find with the resources that are available to you that it will be as smooth as possible.